Well, let's find out from one of the Red Wall MPs, Lee Anderson from Ashfield. Lee, my goodness, what a 24 hours it has been. Perhaps what a fortnight it has been. Do you ever wish Boris Johnson was still your leader?
No, it's not dull being a politician, Gloria. You know that yourself, being an MP for many, many years in Ashfield. They say a week's a long time in politics. I think it's 24 hours now that's a long time in politics. Look, I think it was the right decision to have a change in direction, as we say. Look, I think if the PM's got it wrong and the Chancellor's got it wrong, hold your hands up, say I've got it wrong, make that change as quickly as possible, and let's crack on with this conference and roll out what we should be talking about, which is the economy, which is the cost of living, etc.
Lee, why do you think it was the wrong decision, that decision to cut the income tax rates for those earning more than £150,000?
I'll tell you why it was wrong, Gloria, because an MP can pretty much judge the mood of his constituency or her constituency by their inbox. And I've never, since being an MP in nearly 3 years, had one single email from anybody on 150 grand saying, please cut my taxes. So that's how I know it was the wrong decision.
Have you ever, and to be honest, it's a little unfair because you all have bankers in your constituency, but do you think any MP is getting an email from a banker saying, can you uncap my bonuses so they can be higher?
No, but what I would say is that most people earning that sort of money are probably responsible capitalists. They believe in fairness, they believe in social cohesion, they believe in paying their way. Look, if you're on 150k a year, like some of these GB news presenters at this place, then there are ways and means where you are creative with your tax returns. So I don't buy that, Gloria.
Okay, but I put it to you that just as people in your party have made moves to reverse that income tax cut for the highest earners, they'll make a move on the decision or the suggestion that bankers' bonuses should be uncapped next, won't they?
I think that's slightly different to the income tax. But let's not forget, Gloria, that the 40% rate which we wanted to cut it to, which the Chancellor did, it was 40% under Labour for many, many years. So we're only going back to how it was, and we're not.
Well, they increased it though. The Labour government increased it during the global financial crisis, which arguably we're in something similar now.
I'm not defending it in any way, but remember, this is about giving people. I'm not against tax cuts. This is about giving people back their own money. We're not giving them money. We let them keep more of their own money, but it's a little bit distasteful, I think, the cut to 40% on the high-end earners, and I've got people in my constituency really struggling to make ends meet.
The suggestion is that in order to balance the books, because obviously this is all funded by borrowing, the suggestion is in order to balance the books, public spending cuts may be next. Now, I think that would go down badly in the Red Wall, wouldn't it?
Well, look, we had austerity for many, many years in Ashfield.
Yeah.
And I know the Labour group, the Labour Council complained, vigorously for over 10 years about the austerity, but it actually made no difference at all to our council services. In fact, they got better at delivering services, and I know our police got better. So I think there's savings to be made, but the people in this country want value for money. When they're spending their hard-earned taxes on public services, they want to see that their money is being spent wisely. And I think in some situations, like the NHS, I know the NHS very, very well with my dealings with them. I see a lot of waste in the NHS. I see a lot of waste in the police force, in the criminal justice system, and I see waste in local government. So we need to start there.
Yeah, do you think? Because you have been in government for 12 years, and if there was loads of waste around, you'd have thought you'd have nailed it by now.
Well, this is it. I mean, we try and be a small government and let the NHS run itself, but I think sometimes government's got to step in. I see massive waste in my local hospital, Kingsmill, wasted money hand over fist. I see nationally. I see some of these jobs they're recruiting for, these diversity officers on 80, 90 grand a year. They've got trust managers on 250 grand, 100 grand more than the Prime Minister. Why are we doing this? Why are we paying these people this sort of money?
Let's talk about Kwasi Kwarteng, because the finger is being pointed at him for the for the suggestion that the policy should happen in the first place, and now the reversal of that policy. Yeah. Is he safe in his job? Would you like him to be safe in his job?
Well, I mean, with Kwasi's job, I mean, it's probably the most important job in the country. He spends the money, he rakes the money in, so he's got a tough gig, Gloria, to try and balance the books. He's inherited not a good hand, should we say.
From yourselves.
Yeah, from ourselves. But you know, we've had a tough time in the country over the past couple of years with the pandemic. Now the war in Ukraine, we've got the cost of living, we've got fuel prices. So I know it's a tough gig. Hats off to him for taking the job, but it's a tough one. It's a real
What
tough
would
one.
you like him to say when he gets up and addresses conference? Because actually, it's not really just addressing you guys. He is addressing the country.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about your voters. What do your voters need to hear from the Chancellor when he speaks today to ensure that you keep Ashfield blue?
I want to see a sense of fairness, Gloria, across the board. You know, people in Ashfield earning 20, 25 grand a year, they haven't got a lot of disposable income. They see the reduction to 40%, they see that as unfair. I want the people of Ashfield to think that we've got a fair Chancellor who gets it, who understands. And that really is the job of some of us Red Wall MPs, to make sure that our constituents have got that voice and we're knocking on that Chancellor's door as often as we can. And make no bones about it, I'll be knocking on his door next week.
Will you?
Yes, definitely. So be fair to my people.
And what does that look like?
Well, that means that, you know, realise that there are people out there that, you know, there's people in this place, there's people in Parliament, in all parties, that's never had to worry about paying a gas bill, electric bill, the council tax. They don't have to worry about getting the kids a school uniform. I've been there, I've been that person, I know what I'm talking about. Most of the people in my constituency know what it's like to struggle to make ends meet. It's about time some of these politicians had a dose of that.
Lee Anderson, pleasure to talk to you as ever. Thank you for coming on GB News.